Hello everyone, I am Ed, and welcome back to some more surprisingly pleasant adventures in the land of Dark Souls 2. I say this because, well, we haven't died yet. But dying is an inevitability in Dark Souls, and it's most certainly going to happen today. But before then, I'd like to thank everyone. You guys have been so supportive and so nice, and given me so many tips on the comments. Mind you, nothing spoilerish or anything. Just basically helping me and nudging me a little bit forward and helping me understand certain mechanics of the game that I've needlessly overlooked. I am not the smartest of men, that's why I have you guys here to help me. And you should have seen me earlier, because I was in the comments section and I was taking notes. It was beautiful. It's like watching a monkey using tools for the first time. I have these notes right here, and they're tips on things that I should do, like reading item descriptions, which I'll be doing right now. I have read these before, but I'm going to read them with you, just in case you're interested in these things, and if you're not, you feel free to skip ahead a few minutes, because this will take a while. So, when you're in the inventory menu, and you press the square button, as it says in the bottom there, you can read more detailed item descriptions. In the first game, item descriptions were the way the game had of explaining and conveying to you certain story elements that the game itself, through narrative, didn't do. And they thought that it was too easy, so this time you have to press a button to actually access that information. That's a brilliant game design. I love these guys. These guys are amazing. I'd like very much to shake their hands for this. So, human effigy, a warm, soft, shadow-like effigy. Use this item to reverse hollowing. It also weakens the links to other worlds, preventing invasions and most cooperation. I think this pertains to online elements. Basically, when you're in the other game, I'm not sure if it works the same way here because a lot of things have changed, but in the previous game, when you were human, you could be invaded, and you could invade other worlds and slay their masters, I suppose. That's what the game calls them, I think. And if you did, you'd get rewarded for that, or you'd die, pretty much. And if what it says here is basically if this turns you human, and if you're human, you can be invaded, but if you are a hollow, then you can't. Peer closely at an effigy, and one begins to perceive a human form, but whose form it takes depends on the person looking. So basically, this effigy takes your form if you peer at it for long enough. Good to know, I guess. Life Gem, a small stone made of crystallized souls, gradually restores a small amount of HP. Often found near abandoned corpses, as if it were the remains of the soul. Or what remains of the soul, if I could read correctly. Amber Herb, an annual herb with an amber color so deep, it gives the impression of luminescence. Restores a small number of spell uses. It is the mistaken belief of many that the flowers of this herb do not blossom. However, small white flowers do blossom during dusk when the moon is visible. That's amazing to know, but not very story-driven. Not very story-related, I mean. Divine Blessing. Holy water endowed with a divine blessing cures status effects and fully restores HP. Cures status effects. I have to memorize this. This is important because status effects in this game are very, very, very soul-crushing. Water blessed by an ancient goddess, her name is long forgotten, and the Magic Academy of Melfia denies even her existence. Okay. In any age, there are those who refuse to see reason. It is their meddling that distorts the truth. That's indeed true. Dark Sign, an accursed mark. The Dark Sign induces death, returning the player to the last bonfire rested at the cost of all souls held. So basically you kill yourself. I wonder what the point of this is. Do what you must to gather the pieces, scrapping them into some semblance of a whole before the will to do so fades. Gold Pine Resin, a rare pine resin with a golden glint. Applies lightning to right-hand weapon. Oh, so if I'm holding two weapons, it'll be the right-hand weapon only. The affected weapon inflicts lightning damage for a short time, particularly effective against foes who are resistant to magic and fire. So lightning is strong against fire and magic resistance foes. That's good to know, but also a little bit confusing because it feels like lightning should be affected by magic resistance, but it's apparently not. Okay. Rusted coin. excuse me, an old rusted coin. Crushing the coin temporarily boosts luck. This rusted coin gives you that little extra bit of luck, making items and the like easier to find. Oh, okay. I know what luck does. Cool. The coin is engraved with the image of a god that was worshipped in ancient times, but no one knows its true origins. It feels like one of those items that I'll think is too good to use, and I'll never know the exact time when I should be using this, because this is sort of something that you do to farm, I suppose, and I don't know what I'm farming because I don't know the game. Soul of a Lost and Dead. Soul of a Lost and Dead, who has long ago gone hollow. Used to acquire souls. This is a soul container, I know what it does. The soul is the source of all life, and even in undeath, hollowing, the mind seeks souls. Good to know. Soul of a Nameless Soldier, basically the same thing. Cracked Red Eye Orb, online play item, invade other worlds, defeat the master of the world you have invaded to acquire a token of spite. I have no idea what those do. The residual sins of those who have succumbed to dark temptations are contained in the form of the Cracked Red Eye Orb. Okay, alright. Black Separation Crystal, a symbol of farewells that has been passed down since time immemorial. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes or sends you back to yours. Whether ending in hope or despair, encounters or valuable experiences, beware fickle use of this item. Well, part of that sentence is true. Whether ending in hope or despair, encounters or valuable experiences, that almost relates to relationships in real life too. Online play item. You will be punished for fleeing from other worlds by disconnecting unjustly. However, this chain will disperse the ire directed at you. Huh. But sins are not easily buried, and there's no telling if you will be let off so easily next time. Each encounter in life is a precious turn of fate, and fate will not be cheated. So from what I understand, if you disconnect from an invasion, if someone invades you or you invade someone and you disconnect by turning off your internet or something, that sort of the game sort of punishes you in some form or another that I'm not quite sure what it is. But this prevents that. Somehow. Okay. Petrified something. An unidentified petrified object, pleasant to the touch despite its looks. Like my penis. Oh, this is what we got in the beginning of the game. This is our blessing, I suppose. A rare and peculiar thing, to be certain, but one without a known purpose. I agree completely. There we go, that's all of them. Now there is equipment too, because yes. A standard dagger has only modest attack and short reach, but can be jabbed in rapid succession with a powerful critical attack. This is a potent weapon in the hands of the capable, which is clearly not my hands. Black Flamestone Dagger, a dagger affixed with a black crystal found deep inside the gutter. That's always where I find my weapons. And the Black Gullet. I don't know how to pronounce that. Heavier than a standard dagger, but with a fine crystal that gives it a smoother slice. Some of the more determined souls exited to the gutter, sought to scale the walls of the forsaken place and walk the earth once again, but failed and wasted away, mired in misery and resentment. Okay. This sort of gives you a little bit of background on certain places, but since I haven't been there and I'm not sure if these places actually exist within the game or not, I'm not sure how I feel or how I should relate to those. A small straight sword, longer than a dagger, but still lightweight. Widely used as it requires no particular strength. A reasonable choice that will suffice in many situations, but not the thing to take along if you expect to face any serious challenge. Oh, that's one of the swords we started off with. It might even be the one that we're holding right now, I think it is. Yellow Quartz Longsword. By the way, some of these are the weapons that we got as DLC for having the collector's edition of the game. I was and am reading these because I will be stashing them just in case I feel later that I should use them. I don't want to get those urges, so I'll be stashing them away. Yellow Quartz Longsword, a straight sword affixed with yellow quartz. This longsword was found in the Iron Keep, breaks easily due to corrosion, but is light and still inflicts very significant damage. In the old Iron King's Great Iron Keep was a vast collection of weapons, erected as a display of strength to the world. But they were lost when the king's conceit doomed the castle to sink into a lake of fire. That's depressing. Scimitar? Oh no, the scimitar is the one that we're using? I think it is? Yeah. A small curved sword with a narrow blade. The rapid slashing of the lightweight scimitar hardly allows the victim to catch a breath. well, we're trying to kill it, so that's sort of the point. If they don't breathe, they might die a few seconds sooner. Has a sharp blade, but it is rather ineffective against armor and hard skin. Good to know. Bound hand axe, an axe with an unusual design found in the undead purgatory. The chains and spikes wrapped around the axe cause bleeding, but weaken the axe's effectiveness when slashing. Accessories that are added to a weapon for the sole purpose of tormenting foes can often detract from the weapon's natural effectiveness. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure it has some sort of actual real-world connotation, as in, if you apply some sort of extra effect to the weapon, it doesn't work as well? I don't know. Homunculus base, a pole with lumps attached to it. Ew. Found in the manor of Aldia. Heavier than a standard mace, but with more effective striking owing to its hard lumps. Ew again. In the far eastern outskirts of Drang Lake lies an old manor that is now long forgotten, as it should be, for the things that lurk there are better left unknown. Ooh, I hope we do visit this amazing sounding place. What am I doing? There we go. Transgressor's Staff. This is the last DLC weapon, if I remember correctly. A staff enwreathed in a matte blackness. Found in the heart of the Dark Chasm, a catalyst for sorceries and hexes. It's basically a sorcery item, weapon, I guess. No one knows what lies beyond the dark passages found across Drang Lake, but perhaps they are better left undisturbed. I feel that the shields, yes, I've read this before, and the shields do have similar descriptions to the weapons, so I'm not going to read them. They're pretty much the same thing. Hemp hood that fully covers the face, provides protection, blah blah blah. The cursed souls who wander the lands have a strange way of ending up here, as if drawn from afar by some force. And the hood that we're wearing right now, the Wanderer hood, a hood for the roving type. Light, sturdy leather made for long journeys. Also, any other types of armor that are of the same family as the hoods that we just read will have similar descriptions as well. So, we're done with item descriptions. Let's move along to stats, because this game has a lot of things. People have taught me, well, one person in particular, but I forget their name, and they're awesome, by the way, I love you, have taught me that if I press the help button down there, the select button, I can read about stats and what they do and how they work, which is going to be invaluable information moving forward. Overall attributes, strength consumes souls to level up. This is the level of our character. Vigor, an attribute that determines HP. I feel like vitality and vigor were the same attribute in the first game. I could be wrong, though. I don't think they were separate. I think there was one for load and one for HP and defense. It could be wrong, doesn't matter. Endurance, an attribute that determines your overall stamina. Vitality, an attribute that determines your maximum equipment load. This basically pertains to how encumbered you'll be if you're equipping heavy armor or heavier armor than you can bear, basically. Attunement, attribute governing number of spells that can be attuned, boosts spell casting speed. If I remember correctly, the number of attunement slots that you had pertain to intelligence and faith, which we'll read later, so I'll touch on this in a few seconds. Strength attribute required to wield heavy powerful weapons, also boosts attack. Dexterity attribute required to wield weapons requiring finesse, also boosts attack. It is an attribute that I'll try to focus on because I'm more of a fast attacker than a heavy, long animation attacking type of person. But hey, I may change my views on things as we move along. Adaptability. Oh, this used to be resistance, right? Adaptability. Raises various attributes to ensure one's survival. Boosts agility and various resistances. We didn't used to have agility as a stat, did we? I think that's new. Intelligence. Attribute required for sorceries, boosts magic defense and proficiency in sorceries. Faith. Attribute required for miracles, boosts lightning defense and proficiency in miracles. So these two in the first game, as you level these up, and every 10 levels you'd get one more slot for equipping magic. I'm not sure if they were sort of specific for faith type spells, miracles, and sorceries for intelligence, or if they were just slots that you could boost your intelligence and have further slots that you could use to equip faith spells or miracles. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't know the first game that well, actually. Even though I beat it. Souls. Total number of souls in your possession. Souls are left behind upon death. That's your currency. HP. You die if this reaches 0. That's pretty to the point. I like the way you put that. Stamina required to carry out actions. Actions deplete stamina, which automatically recovers. Equipment load. Maximum weight that can be equipped. Movement speed. Movement slows as your equipment load approaches maximum. Yeah. Basically, in the other game, if you had double the equipment load stat than the load you were actually equipped to right then and there, then you would be agile. You could roll and move faster, etc., etc. Attunement slots. Each slot allows the attunement of one spell, can be increased by raising attunement. Casting speed. Speed at which spells can be cast, can be shortened by raising attunement. I've never been much of a caster, so I don't know. Physical attack. Strength. The power to inflict damage with physical attacks improves with strength. Physical attack dexterity. The power to inflict damage with physical attacks improves with dexterity. Ah, that's cool. So, I'm not sure if this was present in the first game, but if they split the types of weapons into 2, and you can decide to just go one route or the other. That's good to know. Magic attack bonus boosts the power of magic attacks. Fire attack bonus, blah blah blah, pretty self-explanatory. Poison attack bonus boosts the power of poison attacks and bleed. There's a lot of elements here. Let's go back to the beginning. Required souls, required number of souls to level up. Leveling up raises an attribute. That's usually how it goes. In the old game, you used to level up at the bonfire. Now I don't know, because there is no option to level up on the bonfire, so I'm not quite sure how you do it yet. But I'm sure the game's going to tell me, because one of the great strengths of Dark Souls is its tutorialization. Physical strength, defense. Level of defense against physical attacks. Magic defense. Pretty self-explanatory. Fire, lightning, dark. Poison resist. It's not defense, it's resist, because it's sort of a binary type of thing. If you are attacked with a poison attack, you can either be poisoned or not. You can't really, you don't take extra damage for having, for the enemy having higher poison attack stat. You just have a higher chance of being inflicted by the enfeeblement. So, bleed resist, petrify resist, curse resist, blah blah blah. And all of these are in poise. The ability to withstand the impact of attacks and agility. Boosts ease of evasion and other actions. Could it be that your roll is now separate from your equipment load as opposed to before? That's what I get from reading this. And your resistances, I believe, go up when you raise adaptability. So we're at 6. I'm not sure how high that is. Probably not very high. Physical defense against strike, slash, and thrust, and poise. Okay. Poise is again the ability to withstand the impact of attacks. I didn't know what poise was throughout the first Dark Souls. Okay, so basically it's the recoil and the ability, maybe the ability to lower damage taken when you defend? I don't know. It's hard to take away anything from this. So these are our weapons and soul memory. Souls that once dwelled within the flesh will always remain in memory. Could this be a blessing or a curse? I'm not sure what this is. I feel like it's a counter for all the souls that you've accrued throughout the game, even though you've died or used them to level up. They will still be counted there. It's the same as our current number of souls because, well, we haven't used them for anything yet. Okay, that concludes this first part of Dark Souls. Now let's rest at the bonfire because I am going to put some items in the item box and we'll proceed in a second. Alright, so we're back. Another thing that people taught me from the comments is that you can dual wield weapons, and it's different than in the first game. Basically, you can attack with both weapons at the same time by pressing triangle, but because I don't have the necessary stats, it goes into dual wielding your right hand weapon. If I had higher stats, I actually equipped this dagger here to try it out. No, I don't have enough stats for either, so that's just fine. I guess I'm just gonna stick with nothing. There we go. Dual wield nothing? No. I want to dual wield the scimitar. There we go. Cool, like this. Alright, feels like the best course of action for now.